I love talking about self-love, and that's why today we're going to talk about our inner children. Ultimately, all of us are literally just grown-up children. And we still carry this child version inside of us. And sometimes if this child version is not happy or if its needs are not being met, we can face a lot of problems in life, a lot of resistance in life. It is so important to preserve this childlike quality because I think that's the key to joy just in general. One time I was at this wedding and we were seated across from this couple. And this couple, both of them seemed so grown up. They were talking about all of the financially smart decisions and how that was driving their lives and how everything was revolving around the best career move or saving for children or like the best kind of planning. And they sounded so adult and so mature, but almost to the point where it was boring. Like there was just plain logic and it was completely like ruling their entire lives. And there was no spark in them. At least I did not see it in that conversation. And sometimes I feel like most of us, when we become adults, we can slide into that dull territory and we can forget about our inner children. But I hope that by watching this video, you can reconnect with your inner child and you can tap into your happiness. Hey guys, my name is Polina. If this is your first time seeing me, and thank you for being here with me today. I think when we talk about the inner child, we ultimately talk about self-love and radical self-acceptance. It is about accepting your own unique journey without comparing yourself to someone else. It's about cherishing yourself no matter where you are. It is about being kind to yourself and about not beating yourself up. Let's talk about the inner child that's not healed. There can be so many patterns that we exhibit, sometimes on a daily basis, that are symptomatic of a certain internal problem that we have not resolved. And this problem can stem from our inner child not being happy. We just move into our adult lives and we forget about our childhood dreams, we forget about joy, we forget about play. We become these like reasonable, logical human beings. So what kind of patterns am I talking about? One that I'm really familiar with is perfectionism and feeling like you're never enough, feeling almost like shame for where you are in life and beating yourself up for not being farther ahead. Having an avoidant attachment style or anxious attachment style can also show that your inner child just doesn't feel safe. Like you don't feel safe in this world. You feel like you might get abandoned, so you resort to these attachment styles. Another pattern can be a burnout, which is closely linked to perfectionism. You can be going through these cycles of hyperactivity followed by a burnout. Other people can start slipping into like a permanent Groundhog Day experience because they just feel so dull. They feel like their life is just passing them by and nothing is changing. And maybe their inner child is kind of depressed from this passivity. Maybe there is a pattern of avoiding taking any risks. Another pattern that I encounter frequently, even in other people, is problem with boundaries. It's very hard to say no. It's very hard to stand your ground. It's very hard to respect your needs and respect your desires. And usually it's the same pattern or the same combination of patterns that are just repeating over and over and over again. And sometimes the person might not even be aware that they're in this pattern. But once they recognize it, they can start tracing the origin of this pattern. Maybe it is coming from the wounded inner child. I want to share some of the ways that you can connect with your inner child. Honestly, the first time that I connected with my inner child was very unexpected. I was at this spa in New York City called Othership. And what they do is they host these communal classes where you go into the sauna and then you rush to the ice bath and then you go back into the sauna. And there is an instructor that is guiding you through this practice. So sometimes there can be different rituals that accompany your experience there. And during one Othership class, there was this visualization meditation where we were imagining ourselves as little children and how we as adults were approaching this child and hugging them and talking to them. And I was just sitting there with my eyes closed, feeling very shaky after an ice bath. And I was just imagining this little girl who I used to be. And when I was imagining her in my head, I started crying. I have no idea why it happened. I was completely taken aback by this experience because even though I do love to cry, I am not the type of person who like cries easily in front of, a room full of strangers, but I was definitely tearing up. And that was the first time I recognized my childhood self in me. Like I said, this completely caught me off guard, but doing this inner child meditation can definitely awaken something in you that you didn't even know was there. After this meditation, I randomly started learning about other ways of connecting to your inner child. I was reading this book by Louise Hay, whom I adore. And in this book, she was talking about this practice of writing questions that you have for yourself with your dominant hand, and then writing the response with your non-dominant hand. And that response that you write with your non-dominant hand would be the response from your inner child. The font will definitely look very childlike. So I tried this, and I tried this without overthinking. I just was writing whatever was in my head. And I think it's also very, very powerful. You might be surprised with what you write with your non-dominant hand. And you can ask yourself questions like, what do I want from this life? Or why am I feeling upset? Or what is missing? Or why do I constantly burn out or feel tired? Or what should be my direction in life? Like, you can write anything that pops into your head that you truly want to resolve. Recently, I traveled back home and my best friend gave me this book. It's in Russian, so I apologize, but it's written by Stefanie Stahl, and I'm gonna link the book down in the description box. But this book is also about reconnecting with your inner child and also noticing the negative patterns of your inner child. You literally draw a diagram of your inner child and you write down what you have absorbed from your parents, from your grandparents, or from any other guardians that you had in your childhood. And you start to face your patterns, you start to face your limiting beliefs, and you start to really uncover all of these unresolved emotions that may be really hindering you in life. This book definitely provides a very fertile soil for self-reflection and for self-exploration. In the recent month, I also started working more with the image of my inner child. And it honestly involved looking at my old photographs and addressing them and writing letters to that childlike version of me. I know this might sound very strange, but I think it can be very helpful to address yourself with love, with kindness, with empathy, with praise that maybe you never received as a child. You as an adult can give that to yourself now. You are not bounded by anyone. You can give that to yourself. And honestly, when we have self-love, when we have that kind of empathy towards ourselves, when we have healed this relationship with our inner child, we can do so much in this life. Like literally, we become so much more resilient. We become so much stronger because we always have our back. It might make you tear up too, You never know what kind of reaction you might have when you look at your childhood self. And as an extension of this practice, I personally really love painting. I really love art. So I decided to paint myself as a baby. I took my old photograph and I've been working on it for like 2 months now. I'm not working on it consistently, but I definitely want to continue. And I also chose a photograph that is kind of goofy because I honestly don't want to be taking life too seriously, and I'm slowly teaching myself to do that. So I just want to wrap up this video by saying that I think the biggest thing that you can gain by addressing your inner child is the feeling of safety. I think we owe it to ourselves to establish a feeling of safety within ourselves. I think being harsh with ourselves honestly leads nowhere. So that's why self-love is the answer. So show yourself that you're always there for yourself. Well, guys, thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.